Do you know what the Doha, the Exiles, and the Harlequins all have in common? A second half lead that was swallowed up. Yep, that's right. Games that should have been closed out, momentum that swung in the wrong way, and the pressure exposing the cracks when it mattered most. The second half of the season is proving ruthless, and if you switch off for 10 minutes, you'll pay for it. Welcome to the show. As always, we're brought to you by our partners Yalla Sports and FFP Sports. This is Bruffy's Rugby Offload. Let's get it going.
This is rugby in the desert, heat waves collide. Abu Dhabi to Dubai, Warriors.
Hey, Friday night lights. Friday night in Abu Dhabi saw the Harlequins host unbeaten Bahrain Rugby Club. Early on, it looked like anyone's game. Both sides were a little shaky, errors creeping in, momentum swinging. All right, Bahrain did what Bahrain do best. They trusted their systems and worked the game around the paddock. All right, the Quins, to their credit, played fast and effective rugby, building momentum and applying sustained pressure. After a strong 30-minute spell, they took the lead with around 15 minutes to play. But you don't beat Bahrain if you don't spend half the game a man down. 3 yellow cards told the story. The third, a double punishment, meant that the Quins spent a serious amount of time shorthanded. Add a scrum that was being torn apart, and suddenly every good moment came at a double the cost. Bahrain stayed patient, protected the ball, and finished with sustained pressure, crossing late to seal the win and deny the Quins 2 bonus points. It was a rough physical contest, but Bahrain's pack worked relentlessly, and Cormac Fox led the pack superbly around the park. And I'll say it again, I hate the double punishment rule. Most of you already know that. All right, part 2, Doha undone late in Dubai. Next up, Doha travelled to Dubai with Al Habtoor Polo Club, hosting a tightly contested clash against the Sharks. We've been calling for Doha to travel with more depth, and they finally did. Not only that, they looked good in the first half. They worked their forwards hard around the corner before giving Max Johnson and the backs more ball. It paid off. The Sharks were guilty of costly errors early, but the second half, they flipped the script. They came out with intent, closed the gap, and took the lead. Emosi ripped through the line for another massive break, and momentum swung sharply. Doha tried to hang on, but things unravelled when JP Haynes saw yellow for a cynical infringement just moments after coming on. From there, the pressure told. All right, the Sharks held their nerve, got to the win. Doha showed real improvement, but once again, couldn't quite close it out. All right, so it was a tough day at the office, much improved, but not good enough from Doha. Congratulations to the Sharks, back up in 4th spot. Game 3, Saturday afternoon showdown, Dubai Pride on the line. Saturday brought out the Dubai Derby as the Hurricanes and Exiles went into battle. The Hurricanes wanted to make a statement after losing earlier in the season. Instead, it was the Exiles who came out firing. Physical, disciplined, and clinical. They kept the Hurricanes scoreless in the first half while crossing over for a couple themselves. The second half started no better for the Canes. The Exiles pushed their lead out to 17 and looked in control. Then came a turning point. A penalty not taken. That was the sniff the Hurricanes needed. All right. A scintillating try from Aaron Dubois sparked the comeback. 2 more late tries followed that, including one on the final play to level the scores. Then Francois Maybach stepped up and converted to steal the win. The Exiles showed massive improvement, but will be gutted. The Hurricanes showed resilience, but Henry Paul will be asking some hard questions this week before they travel to Bahrain for the upcoming weekend's game. Both teams still work to do. Hurricanes get the sneaky win. The Div 1 and 2 youth round wrap-up. In Division 1, Bahrain doubled their Quins' misery with a narrow 14-8 win in a tight arm wrestle. The Tuskers put the Tigers to the sword, So the Tigers deserve credit for putting up a real fight. Exiles 2's crossed for 6 tries to hold off a determined Al-Ain side, who they themselves scored 5 in a high-scoring contest. All right, in Division 2, the leaders Barrel House continued strong run, scoring 8 tries in another convincing win over the Tigers' second side. Still asking questions about why Barrel House are in that division, but they are doing well there. Also, a massive shout out to the Hurricanes under 18s. They scored 88 points in their game on the weekend, so that's more than a point a minute. So a huge win for them, guys. Congratulations. It's good to see the talent coming through the UAE. Okay, let's have a look at the tables. In West Asia, Bahrain are still on top, taking that lead. 39 points, almost an unassailable lead now. The Hurricanes are now up in second on 26 points, closely followed by Abu Dhabi, who sit on 24. Dubai Sharks then back into fourth place with 21 points. Put some pressure on the Dragons to make sure they win. Dragons are in fifth on 19. Exiles down on 8 points and Doha on 6 points. So there's lots of contested areas in there. But yeah, between 2 and 5, there's only 7 points in total. So it's still anyone's game, but some teams need to come through with some big wins. In Div 2, Exiles are now in the final, got a final shot. So they're in the top 8. But the top of the table, Shaheen and Tuskers both undefeated. The only difference at the moment is the games played between them. But we look forward to seeing what happens then. And there's no real change in Div 2 either. Barrel House stay up the top there. They're on 20 points. They're undefeated so far. Then Tigers, Canes, Sharks make up the top 4. With Dragons, then the Quins 3 and Quins 4s are both in the to last place. On the women's table, it's just been released. Up the top sit the Hurricanes and Abu Dhabi Quins, both on 42 points. Both have won a tournament and come second in the tournament. So this weekend's tournament up at the Sharks will be big. Give one of those two a definitive lead. So again, that's that round robin style, but both teams will want to take that out just to get some more points on the board with only 3 tournaments left to go. And the last thing we're going to talk about is the fixtures for next week. All right, so we have in the West Asia Prem, fixtures are Friday Night Lights in Dubai, Dubai Exiles versus the Dubai Sharks. Heavily contested. Sharks took it out last time. Can the Exiles bounce back and get a win? They have looked stronger. They have looked steadier. Just need to be able to finish out a game. All right, and then we have Bahrain hosting the Hurricanes. So again, that grand final from last year, the final replay. There was 1 point difference within the season. So Hurricanes looking to go over to Bahrain and disrupt their undefeated list. Bahrain, with that red wall and their fans back at home, will always be tough to beat. They are a different kettle of fish in Bahrain. All right, and the third West Asia Premiership is Doha versus the Dragons. Clarkey and the boys will take the flight over to Doha, take on Dragons take on Doha. It'll be a heavily contested game. It was last season. So can Doha get another game? Can the Dragons try and take back that 4th spot? We will see what happens. All right, as we already said, the women's series is being played at Al Habtoor Polo Club, the Sharks. So that is round 3 of their season. And then in Div 1, we've got 4 matchups. And the one we're talking about is, first up, Friday night, 7:30 p.m. at the Seven Stadium. It is the Tuskers versus Shaheen. A lot of the Fijian boys know each other very well. They'll be going up. Can the Tuskers' massive pack and decent backline disrupt Shaheen's awesome back line. Shaheen has been running around teams through the backs, and their forwards have struggled. Can this be where Tuskers take place? This will be the This will be the game of the season. I suspect this will be the two teams in the finals, but it'll be a very interesting one to watch and check out over the weekend. Other games: Alain take on the Hurricanes 2s, Sharks 2s take on Tigers 1s, and Dragons 2s and Exiles 2s play that. There's also 3 games in Div 2. Barrel House take on the Hurricanes at Tigers Park. The Quins 3s take on Dubai Tigers 2s. And the Quins 4th team take on the Sharks 3rd team. There's also an under-18s boys game. That is the Sharks versus the Harlequins. And their Sharks under-18 girls also take on the Exiles. So a lot of games happening this weekend. A lot of action. Don't forget, if you get any highlights or see anything, tag us in it. Let us know your thoughts. Give us a follow. Give us a like. And let's get into rugby. Okay, that is it for this week. Standards are set. Pressure is rising. And there is nowhere to hide. Thank you for listening or watching. We'll catch you next week. Masalama, everybody, at rugby.
This is rugby in the desert, heat waves collide. Abu Dhabi to Dubai, Warriors.